What's up, everybody? My name is Dell. This is Dell on Movies. Welcome to episode 22 of Movie Swap. We were legal last week. Now we're above legal age. So we just really the ready party a little bit now and let our hair down a bit. And tonight is a guest that, well, we just discovered or realized it is the first time we actually are going to get to talk face to face or camera to camera, as he put it. And a lot of you met him first time or came across him the first time as the first battler, one of the first battlers on 4K D-Ray's movie battles. And you also might have seen him on his own channel. You might have seen him hanging out with Alex Thomas on some of their streams. And I'm talking about AJ of AJ Reacts. What's going on, my man?
What is going on? I'm excited. Thank you for having me. And I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely. So we would talk when we were talking backstage. You were talking about how you do some stuff with Alex, obviously, and y'all got the crew y'all got over there. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
So we do a web show weekly called Nerd Talk, and it is on Alex Thomas's channel, and it's a segment on his channel where we just kind of discuss movie news, and then we'll have spoiler talks for like the latest films. Like tonight they are doing The Flash. I was just over there a few minutes ago, but I had to hop on here. But so when the Transformers Rise of the Beast came out, they did one on that, and just things like that. And then sometimes we'll do watch alongs and things of that nature. So it's a fun time over there. So
now the watch alongs, I've hopped in a couple for a few minutes, and then I usually hop out because I just things going on. Now, just listening to you guys for a while, I'm gonna ask your opinion on it. Would it be okay for somebody to hop in a watch along if they've never seen that movie before? Would it be advised? Let me put it that way.
I would say that it depends on the film, and it depends on how you view movies as well, because usually on watch alongs we do a lot of talking, a lot of discussing, because usually we had seen the movie before, so we kind of discuss what's happening. If we have seen like special features or behind the scenes, we talk about what the directors have said, what the actors have said about the particular scenes and things like that, just our own kind of commentary. So if you're really trying to hone in and pay attention and easily distracted, maybe not. But like if you've seen the movie before, like I would recommend coming, hanging and chilling, and just commenting and talking about the film. So
right. Okay. And I bring that up because it's always somebody, you bring up a movie and somebody hasn't seen it. It's like, hey, well, I haven't seen that. And then somebody who's doing a watch along, not just you guys, anybody, hey, well, we're gonna do a watch along on such and such night. And I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that, dog. You might watch it at home first, and then join the watch along.
Exactly. Especially like if you're hosting, you want to be able to know some things about it, what's going on, and things like that for the movie.
Right. Exactly it. All right. Let's take a look and see who is joining us in the chat. We got a few people here, and as always, Adrian James was first in the chat and beat me all the time. What's going on, Adrian?
Yep, got a good name. That's my name.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. See, I learned something new.
Not a lot of people do.
So that brings just a side question. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. But do your friends and family call you AJ also? Or
they call me AJ. I go by AJ everywhere. People at my job, I go by AJ everywhere. But my name is Adrian Wilson.
Okay,
that's me.
Cool. Yeah. And Kira is here. She says, "Hey, what's going on, Kira?" And Kira, I will be chatting with you this week at some point. We have to set some things up again or reestablish, make sure that we are established. Let me put it that way. Emmett, he says, thanks for joining my blend. All right, so that's a little thing between Emmett and myself. He hit me on Instagram, he DM'd me, and he asked me to join his Spotify blend. I am a Spotify user. I don't know if you are or not, or do you use Spotify?
I do.
Okay, are you familiar with blends?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay, I wasn't. I've been on Spotify for a long time, but the way I use it is I just, cut it on and start listening and don't really bother with too much anything
Yeah,
else
like anything else.
I'm
Yeah.
listening to. So
Yeah.
he sends me this thing. He's like, join my blend. And I'm like, you're what? What is a Spotify blend? What is this? So then I went to Spotify, figured out what it was. And yes, I did join it just today. So find out Em and I have
Nice.
a lot of similar tastes apparently in music. So
Yeah, I don't think it's that old. I think they started it around a year or two ago, the blends.
okay.
So yeah, it's not that, old. So
Okay. Okay. Because I was like, I have never heard of this. What is this? but it looks cool, so I'm gonna check it out.
mhm.
Mika is also here, so we got both the twins in the building tonight. What's going on, Mika? Mika is
What's up?
always here.
Hello.
Sue is in the house tonight. I feel
Sue,
special. Sue
movie Sue
doesn't
Sue.
get out much to the chats here, so I feel special.
What is
And
going
she says
on,
hi to us
Sue?
both and have a
Hello.
great swap. And Kira is saying hi to you specifically.
Hello, Kira.
And just got some more highs to everyone. I'm just gonna scroll down, see if there's anybody new that that has popped in, or if there's any questions. And Emmett actually has a question for you, Mr. AJ. What are your overall thoughts on the Anaconda movie?
The Anaconda movie. I saw it
I
once, like in 2020, and it is bad, but it's like kind of campy bad. So like you can find a little bit of enjoyment with it, but it's like I wouldn't call it a good movie. I think
right,
it's
right.
rather bad, but it's kind of a fun time though. So
That I call those so bad they're awesome. Because it's terrible, but you can't help but have fun watching it, even though
yes,
it's terrible.
yes.
And this is the movie, of course, that stars Ice Cube, John Voight, J Lo, and J Lo's nipples. So that's a
Not the nipples though.
oh man, they're on blast the entire movie.
They make an appearance.
They make an
The
appearance,
co-star.
and they never come out the shirt, but they are there.
Oh shoot.
All right, we Mika also saying hi to you or
What's
to the
up,
other agent. I'm
Mika?
not even sure which one she's talking to now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And Mika saying hey to Sue. And here's someone else who has been coming around here as of late. I really appreciate it. Smirk88. He says, hey, what's up? What's going on, man?
Hello.
And again, more chatting back and forth. And again, scrolling down and to see if anybody else has popped in. Here's John from Plaid X2. So looking forward to seeing what movies are picked for tonight. We're going to get into that in just a minute. We haven't quite gotten there yet. And I think he's saying thank you to Mika and some others. And Mika says she just watched Anaconda the other day. Let us know how'd you
For the
like it.
first time?
I'm not curious about that because Mika is a horror nut, so I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it's for the
she
first time or she just
does horror.
rewatching. So let me know, Mika. I don't know, but let's go ahead and get into the reason why we're here, Mr. AJ. If you would just tell the people what movie you have recommended for me to watch.
Well, when you were saying to send a list, I was trying to think of movies that I talked to a lot of people and they're like, I didn't see that one. I haven't caught that one. So I was trying to send a list of those types of movies, and this one was on the list. It is The Last Duel. Usually, when I talk to people, they have not seen this movie. I think personally, I feel like this movie is wildly underrated. I saw it in the theaters, and I kind of saw it on a whim too because, like, I didn't see too much like advertisements or trailers, too many trailers. I think I saw a trailer one time, and I was like, okay. And it has some of my favorite, well, one of my favorite actresses in the film. So, and it's some notable actors in the movie as well. So I was like, let me check it out. And I thoroughly enjoyed it back in 2021. And I wanted to recommend it to you, and you chose that one. And what'd you think, man?
Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna
Oh,
get
we
there.
gonna get there.
We're
Okay,
gonna
okay,
roll
we're not
through it.
there yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're gonna roll for a little bit.
okay.
But to start with, though, you talked about the advertising. It's weird to me. I remember when the movie came out,
Mm-hmm,
and like you said, I just remember seeing like a little bit about it. But
mm-hmm.
given the cast, that's surprising. I mean,
Right.
it stars Matt Damon, you got and Adam Driver,
Yes.
and then you got Ben Affleck in the movie. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
so you got a pretty strong cast in this movie, and you know bankable names. So I'm surprised that it wasn't out there more just for that reason. Um, so and of the list, I'll let this cat out the bag because one of the things you had said to me, man, I don't know what you haven't seen. Well, you know, nobody knows what I haven't seen, but I haven't seen everything. So, but I had seen all 9 of the other movies.
That's why I was like, I don't know, like I don't know what you had seen or not seen, but
Right.
yeah, I'm glad
But
there was at
that's
least
why I
one that you had seen.
yeah, and that's why I say send a list of 10 because I mean there's so far this is episode 22
Hmm.
and we've had 22 different guests and they've all sent me I take that out, not all, 1 or 2 just recommended a movie right off the bat, but just about everybody has sent me a list and there's always at least one I haven't seen.
Hmm.
Few
Okay.
people have sent lists, whereas most of the stuff I hadn't seen, but there's always at least one. That's why I say just send 10 because
Hmm.
odds are there's going to be something that I just haven't gotten to. All
Right.
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 So if you can give me a brief synopsis of The Last Duel.
Okay. Even though I watched this movie last night as a refresher, it is kind of hard for me to remember the characters' names.
I'm with
But
you. We're good.
but
I go by actors' names
okay,
all the
yeah. So
time.
I
Go
could
by
go
actors'
by
names.
the
I'm cool.
actors' names, and this is like a 14th century type film, and it's medieval, feeling, and it's based on a true story, where there Matt Damon's character and Jodie Comer's character are married, and Matt Damon is like he serves the king, and he's a warrior, and Adam Driver's character is highly regarded too, as well. There's tension there with him and the king, with all 3 of them, um and Adam while Matt Damon's character is away on battle, Adam Driver's character comes and takes advantage of Jodie Comer's character. And when Matt Damon returns, she tells him, and there is, a trial, and there's all this, but the movie is broken up into 3 parts, which I
Mhm.
really like, in 3 different perspectives. And that's one thing that drew me to this film. And so yeah, that's basically what the movie is about. And there's this duel that has to be had, and I don't want to give too much away, but
Right.
there's a duel that has to be had between Matt Damon and Adam Driver's character,
Yeah, and
towards the
that's
end.
not giving anything away because it's in the title, and B, the movie actually starts there
Yes, it does. Hmm.
before flashing
Before it
back.
cuts. Hmm. Right.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. All right. So we get that opening bit, just like a tiny bit of that duel. So we know there's going to be a duel, and we flash back, and this is where what you're talking about starts with the movie. We basically it's like Rashomon. If you've seen Rashomon,
Have not.
um, where characters it's a Kurosawa movie from I want to say the 50s, maybe the 60s.
Okay.
Same guy did Seven Samurai.
Got you.
In this case, something happened, and then different characters give their perspective on what happened.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
as far back as anybody can remember, at least as I know of, that was really the first movie that did something like that.
Hmm.
And in the years since, it's been done hundreds of times, but that's the first thing I thought of. So we start off with the truth from the perspective of Matt Damon's character,
Hmm.
and we start going through the story. And so Matt Damon's character is an interesting one because he's the one character who who my opinion of changes depending on who's telling the story, but the others not so much. So did you have that same experience with his character or no?
When I first watched the film, I felt that way. And this second time too. This is actually the second time I saw it yesterday. Because it is kind of a tough watch, just given the subject matter. But yeah, I did feel that there wasn't a lot of changes with the other characters, but with Matt Damon's character, you feel the most changes in his behavior, his mannerisms, through each perspective. But yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do. And again, well, I'm not trying to give anything away, but we go from Matt Damon's perspective to Adam Driver's perspective to Jodie Comer's perspective, and then the wrap around or the conclusion.
Yeah, that's kind of like where those perspectives intersect after that.
Right. So what kind of man do you think he is? His character. What kind of man do you think he is? Is he
which one? Adam Driver?
But we're still on Matt Damon.
We're still on Matt Damon. Okay.
Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he?
He's very prideful. Very prideful, and that showed throughout the film. Even after he learned that his wife had been taken advantage of, he said, why is this happening to me? Like,
yes,
yo,
yes,
what?
That gave me pause. Also, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's kind of just like his character. I wouldn't say he's a good guy. I wouldn't say he's a bad guy, but he has his own struggles. He is not quite Adam Driver's character, which is definitely a bad guy. But he's got his struggles, and he struggles with pride, dignity, identity, and it shows throughout every single one of the perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. That does. And like you said, what changes is minor things on like his mannerisms and how he inflected or didn't inflect with his voice, and those kinds of things change, and they do matter, and they do kind of change your perspective on him a bit. And you brought up Adam Driver's character is definitely a bad guy. It's not spoiling it, guys, because we know this right away is basically what's happening. Because I will say this: we know that his character takes advantage of Jodie Comer's character, and her deal is, okay, I'm going to say something to somebody. We're going to report this, and then we're trying to figure out the truth of the matter from there, because we don't see what happens early on in the movie. We don't know. So that's what we're trying to get at, is the truth. But even if he had never taken advantage of her, he was pretty slimy. And he was definitely a suck up for Ben Affleck's character.
Yes. Shown throughout the film. Definitely.
Yes, completely, 100%. Now, as far as him performing it, I mean, Adam Driver's a really talented actor, and I thought he did really well.
Yes,
and
I agree. I think everybody did.
I thought he did. Yes. If I'm picking my favorite performance, it'll probably be Jodie Comer, but we'll get there in a moment. In a little bit, we'll get there in a moment. So what I was looking for, one of the things I was looking for was perspective change, and that's why I brought it up first. Is in a movie, for instance, Rashomon, or some other movies that have done this, it can often be drastically different from one perspective to the other in those films. Even in real life. I mean, I don't know if you have kids. Do you have kids?
I don't. I have a cat.
Okay. I have a cat. Can't talk. So not quite the same.
Right, not the same. Can't relate.
But you see this most when dealing with kids. I'm a teacher, so I deal with kids all day long. Something will happen, and one child will come and say, "Hey, this happened," And then the other student will come and say, nope, that's not what happened. This is what happened. And it'll be two entirely different things. And you
Oh
kind of have to figure out what actually happened between the two stories. You have to, hear them both and then piece it together. And hopefully there are witnesses. So in this case, I was looking a little more for that, for a bigger change in perspective, because it was like when we got through Matt Damon's story and then we switched over to Adam Driver's, about halfway through it, I was like, this is not really different. What am I missing? Did I miss something?
I can admit, yes, I can admit that there wasn't as much as of a change while seeing the different perspectives as I kind of wanted it to be. That's why I couldn't give it that perfect score. I can't give it that perfect score because I did want things to be a little bit more drastic in perspective. And I thought that watching the film back in 2021 as well. But I can agree with that for sure.
Okay. So and that's honestly, the movie kind of lost me a little bit in there because I was kind of waiting for something, something different to happen. Now it did get me back. It got me back when we get to Jodie Comer's perspective, because first off, as soon as the title card pops up that we're going the truth from her, I was like, oh, okay, now we're going to get somewhere. So and then we got not only her perspective, but basically we got a closer look at her life. And that I thought was a really strong part of the story. And so again, like I was saying, if I had to pick a performance in the movie, hers would be my favorite, because not that the others did poorly, because they did very well, just like you said, but they were. Adam Driver was his character was one note, not necessarily him. His character was pretty much one note.
I agree.
And yeah, Ben Affleck's was definitely one note. And
Ben Affleck, I expected him to be in the film more than he was, and he was not in the movie very much. He might have got
much.
like 10 minutes of screen time.
Total, yeah. Yeah, and I will say though that blonde wig just announced his presence every time.
It's a statement. It's a statement.
It is a statement. And it took me a minute to even recognize him. He pops up. I'm like, that guy kind of looks like Ben Affleck. Wait, that is Ben Affleck.
Wait a second.
On. Yeah, wait a second. So. And Matt Damon is a lot of huffing and puffing for his character most of the way. So he's working hard at his performance, but he's not given a ton to do as far as differentiating between emotions and feelings and actions. He's that, and he's action scenes. With Jodie Comer, we get a lot of ups and downs in her. Ups and downs. We get times where she is we see some complexity with her. She's doing things because she wants to please her husband. She's doing things because she wants to make sure things are right within her home, even correcting some of the things that he hasn't done or is not doing well, and trying to step forward and play her role simultaneously. And I thought we got a lot of complexity with that. So for me, like I said, that would be my favorite performance. And I thought I heard you say you agreed.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why I went to see the film, because Jodie Comer is one of my favorites from a series that she was in called Killing Eve. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the series, but
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yes. I watched that series, and for like the first 2 seasons, I absolutely loved. Then I saw she was going to be in this, and I was like, "Oh, okay, she's going to be in movies now. All right." And she's appeared in some other films. She was actually in the Star Wars film, The Rise of Skywalker, very briefly.
I was going to say I've seen that. Who was she in that?
She is Rey's mom in flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm due for a rewatch of Star Wars. I'll be looking out for her. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then she was in Free Guy as well. The Ryan Reynolds film.
Okay, yeah,
So
I've seen.
so yeah,
I don't
she's
remember her
getting
there, but
some. I'm sorry.
no, I said I don't remember her there, but I did see Free Guy also.
Oh well, you probably that she was the one of the main characters in the film.
So it's one of those. I see her face, but I don't
Mhm.
know her name well enough. Is what it
Got
is.
you, got you, got you.
It's one of those things like, hey, I've seen her before, and then you kind of move on.
Hmm.
so
Yeah, for
so
sure,
that
for sure.
that's what that is. All right, before we move on, just want to see if there's anybody out here talking about the movies, or if anybody new popped in. And Mika answered your question about Anaconda. They were rewatching it.
Just rewatching it. Okay, okay, gotcha.
Rewatching it. And Kara says we enjoyed the Anaconda rewatch together, or we have rewatched frequently. I'm sorry. It's not an amazing movie, but rather a fun creature feature.
It is. It's fun.
Absolutely. And Mika says, I haven't seen The Last Duel, heard it was a great film.
It's good.
And Kira says, I've heard great reviews on The Last Duel, haven't seen it yet, but love Jodie Comer. She was exceptional in Dr. Foster and Killing Eve. Going to see her on Broadway in I think that's Prima Facie. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, next month. Cool.
Yeah. Nice.
So she's doing it all. She's on Broadway too. Interesting. And Mika says, this sounds very intriguing. I love it being told from various perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And Killing Eve is a great series. Jodie is a great actress. I would say I'm gonna check it out, but there are so many series I'm so far behind on.
Yeah, and I would say
know.
the first 2 seasons of Killing Eve are fantastic. The 3rd season is kind of where I fell off, and I heard horrible things about the 4th and final season. So I don't know if Mika feels the same way about the finale season, but those first 2 seasons were fantastic, and I've actually gone back and rewatched those first 2 seasons, but I haven't finished the show yet. So
Okay. So
I
go
need to
ahead,
finish it.
Mika. Let us know how were those last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That might help me decide if I'm going to try to sneak it into my watch list here somewhere. Also, Derek from Pure Hangout is here. What's going on, Derek?
Derek?
This is
That's my guy.
The Last Duel is totally one of those I haven't gotten to yet. Movies I haven't gotten to it yet. All right, well, use this as a guide, I guess.
Yes.
So, Derek, if you're still here, I just wanted to make mention this. I have not watched your styling your mustache video yet. I'm almost afraid because what you see here is as long as it grows. So I don't have anything to style.
Oh man.
But I'm gonna check it out just in case.
Derek's mustache is epic.
Yes, it is. It is absolutely. Absolutely. And Mika agreed the series did fall off on season 3 and 4.
Okay.
All right. So sprinkled in between all this perspective stuff we were talking about, we do get some battle scenes during the movie. How did you feel about these battle scenes?
I felt like they were there, but it wasn't the purpose of the film. Like, this is not an action movie. This is not an action movie, even though it has like a splash of action here and there. We have that duel, but it's not an action film. And I can see where some folks had gone to see this movie thinking that it's action, being totally disappointed. But yeah, like it's fine, but it's not the purpose of the movie.
Right. So I guess a better question would be, were they even necessary?
I think so. To show where Matt Damon was, what he was doing, how he dealt with battles, and just I don't know. I feel like it was necessary for his perspective. Other than that, probably not. But
okay.
Yeah, I think it was kind of necessary to see how he behaved and how, his demeanor, and how he kind of was relentless in battle. Gave him a little bit more
give
depth.
him that. Yeah, it was a little weird because for me, in the sense that we get a lot of political talk whenever, especially whenever Affleck's character is on screen. We get a lot of political talk, and Damon's character is forever rushing off to war, rushing off to fight somewhere, and that not necessarily the focal point, but almost coincidental to the rest of the movie. Almost, it's just really a reason to say that it is possible for what happening, because he's just always off. As far as the actual battles themselves, we talked a little bit about this backstage when we were talking about Transformers. It's one of those things where the camera was too close for me. So, and everybody's just wearing gray.
Okay. You couldn't see what was happening.
Couldn't quite see, not necessarily what was happening, but who's doing what. And then all of a sudden there would be a splurt of blood and a head would fall off, and it's like, oh, okay, got it. But from a narrative standpoint, I think we're kind of in agreement that they would need it for certain things in the film, but not necessary to what is actually happening for the characters. So I think we're kind of on the same page as far as that goes. Now, a bigger question is themes, and a lot of these themes really popped up during that last section with Jodie Comer's character. So my question to you before I go ahead into what I'm thinking is, how relevant is this movie to 2023?
I think this movie was put out for a reason in 2021. I think that assault and sexual assault is very prevalent, and a light needs to be shined on it, and this film helped with that. So I do think that it's relevant, and I think it does kind of apply to 2023. But yeah, it just depends on who's watching it, depends on what's to do and things like that. But yeah, I do think it's prevalent.
Yeah. I would agree with that, because and depending on who's watching it, like you were saying, because a lot of people, when they watch a movie, it's a surface watch. It's whatever happens on the screen is all that matters, and there's really no need to dig any deeper. It's just good guy, bad guy, hero, villain. Somebody wins, somebody loses, somebody gets the girl.
Yes.
But in this case, yes, I would agree that it is definitely speaking to today's times, and some people might try to, I would say, slander the movie. They will, it's a Me Too movie, or it's a woke movie, or it's a this, or it's a that.
For sure.
That kind of thing. But it definitely does have something to say, and I did like that about it, that it was definitely made for a reason. Like you said, there needs to be something said about what was happening then, and sadly, not too dissimilar to now. Let me let's put it that way. Yeah. Did have one or two more people pop in. I did want to recognize them as well as see if there are any other comments. And Kira did say first and second season were great. We're talking about Killing Eve again. 3 goes a bit off the rails. The fourth and final season of dominant as Villanelle, but the plot was lackluster. Okay. And Derek telling me I might not need to watch his video then. Hey, Derek, it is what it is. It is.
Is it like a how-to video? It's like a how-to, like,
yeah, kind of sort of it's a how-to. It's how to style your mustache, and I'm assuming beard also. It was one of those, when you click on the thumbnail for it, how you get that little snippet, and it starts playing, and he's doing his thing. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be depressed and jealous right now. So. But yeah, he's a good guy. I love messing with Derek. He's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
Laren is here. What's going on, Laren? Says, what's up, Dell and
What's going
AJ?
on?
Hope you both enjoying your Tuesday night
Yes, sir.
so far.
I am.
So far. And he's saying hi to some more folks there. And let's see who anybody else pop in here. We got Vin from Hard Copy Blues popped in. Said The Last Duel is sadly so overlooked. Great film. It is definitely one that I had not heard much about. Like I said, I knew of it, but that was about it. So, and given who's in it again, that's just a big surprise. Laren says I need to check this movie out. And the monkey is here. What's going on, man? He says I'm pretty sure The Last Duel was the last film the gun handler worked on before her failure on the set of Rust. I'm assuming that's the Alec Baldwin movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Wow. That's
rest in peace.
I'm telling you. Derek and Laren, he says hello to them. And Laren didn't realize Damon and Affleck co-wrote this one.
I
didn't know that. I didn't pay attention to that this time around, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And I mean, Good Will Hunting and everything else. We've established that they're pretty good behind the camera as well as in front of it.
Yes.
Especially Affleck as a director, really good. So, hey, that's a good thing to find out. All right, so anything about this movie that you think that we didn't touch on that we need to touch on?
Nah, I don't think so. I think we pretty much talked about its layers and kind of analyzed it that way. I kind of want to know like what your final score is for this movie because the way we talked about it is like a lot of like factual information, like observations and things like that. But yeah, like I want to know like if you liked it or not, because
all right, let's get to it then.
You had some positives and negatives here.
Let's get to it then. All right, so my biggest thing, I think my biggest positive, first off, again, Jodie Comer and just the acting from everybody was really good. The story, though set in the 14th century, definitely speaks a lot to what is happening in the world today. So no issues with that. My biggest issue was I didn't think that it completely earned its runtime. And
okay.
For me, I think this is one of those movies that might have benefited from a more straightforward telling, even though I do generally like movies that kind of bounce around. And that's because of what I said earlier, where I didn't see much difference in between the Matt Damon perspective and the Adam Driver perspective. I thought it was just something that could have been weaved in on a normal linear narrative. And with the Jodie Comer stuff, I thought her section was by far the strongest. And it might have something to do with it coming at the end because now we're getting the culmination of everything happening. But again, I thought a more linear telling might have benefited this movie. And even going back to the battle scenes, they're fine if they're there, but if you take them out, I don't think anything changes about the movie.
You mean besides the final, right?
Besides the duel, of course, obviously.
Okay.
Besides the duel, I mean all of the Matt Damon going to war scenes is what I'm really referring to. The duel, of course, has to be there. Is the final, is the last duel. I get that. Another theme that we didn't really touch on was the way that, well, it's still going with all the other things, but the way that religion is shoehorned into the argument all the time. And that's done very well. Yeah, again, my main gripe was just that I thought it could have kind of smashed together the first two parts of the movie and then the rest of it. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say if that was the case, I don't think I would have had a huge issue with that. I personally do and did enjoy the different perspectives, even though they weren't as drastically different as it could have been. I did personally enjoy that, but if that was the case where they went with this linear narrative, the film would have been a lot shorter because it didn't have
Mhm.
as much substance and as much uh really like film like to show
Okay.
other than what was kind of shown in a repetitive manner.
Hmm.
um but yeah, so I feel like the movie might have been like maybe hour and a half, hour 45 if
Hmm. Hmm.
if we would have had that linear, which wouldn't have been horrible. um but yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and for me with runtime, it's not whether I try not to just look at a movie and say, "Oh, it's 2 hours and 20, or it's 2 hours and 40, or it's one
Yeah.
hour and 30," and make a judgment call on that. I try to watch it, and it's like, okay, if the story you're telling me earns however many minutes you're giving me, then fine. If it's not, we can cut it back, and I'm okay if it's hour 45, but it's a tight hour and 45.
Hmm.
I'm good with it. So, for instance, and this has been a hot topic in my house lately, but for
Hmm.
instance, I went and I saw The Little Mermaid, and it was 2 hours 15 minutes ish,
Hmm.
and
Yes,
I
it
thought
was.
that was 30-40 minutes too long. But I also just went
I
and saw
agree.
Across the Spider-Verse, which is 2 hours and 20 minutes longer, and I
Hmm.
could have sat there for 2 hours and 20 minutes
You wanted
more.
more. You wanted
Yes,
more. I
yeah,
know.
and
I
it was,
felt. I feel that.
yeah,
I
and
feel that.
it was the storytelling,
Hmm.
more than anything. I felt that it earned each one
Pacing.
of those minutes.
Hmm.
So in this particular case, I would have been okay if they would have shortened the movie.
Hmm.
Um, as it is, the length is fine. It didn't really, it only dragged in that middle section for me with Adam Driver. The first section went by really well. The last section went by extremely well, because by that time, the movie's reaching a crescendo,
Hmm.
and of course the climax. So
Hmm.
if I'm scoring it out of 10, I'd probably say 7.5.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
not going to be one of my all-time great favorite movies, but it was a good movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
We've had some here that I've scored tens. We've had some that I didn't like so much at all. So that is,
Ooh,
I'll call that a win.
this was kind of like in the middle.
Yeah, uh,
Yeah,
up in the middle,
teetering up
but
there.
higher, but
Okay.
a little bit
Okay.
higher.
Okay. I'm glad.
So I would say I would say that's a win. So
Yeah,
every
I'm glad to hear that.
recommendation can't be a 10. It just doesn't work out that way.
True.
All
True.
right, before we switch over to the other movie, let's see what else is going on in the chat. Mika says Ben and Matt work well together. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And the monkey, the Kira, greetings to one half of the best podcast out there. So if I were Mika, I might be upset. You didn't say what's up to the other half. Cody is here, the dude who loves movies. Speaking of epic beards, Cody has a serious one going on too. He's got that whole lumberjack looking thing going on, and he
Yes.
says, "What's up? What's going on, Cody?"
What's up?
Uh, Kira says they teamed up for Air as well, a great parent
Mhm.
film. Did you see Air?
I did not yet.
Okay,
I
okay,
plan
so
on checking it out, but I have not seen it yet.
I'll say no more. That is the movie about Air Jordans.
Hmm.
Not sure if you are an Air Jordan fan.
Um, eh, but I saw the trailer for it and I was like, this looks decent. Looks decent.
Right.
So, and Jason
I'll give
Bateman
it
is
that.
in that movie too.
Yes, Jason Bateman is in that movie. Cody says, "Don't forget the roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick that like button." I love it when Cody says that. We all do. Good to see it. We know we made it at least for the night. And Laren saying, "What's going on to Cody or Lepke, the other name?" Let's see if anybody else has got anything other than just saying hi back and forth to each other. And Vin says, only seen The Last Duel once, but I loved it. Paying tribute to Rashomon. Yep, we said that a little bit earlier. Half good score has me wanting to see it. And Ridley Scott, big budget epic with Hollywood star power that failed to stay afloat in theaters. Kind of depressing. Yeah. Ridley Scott is kind of hit or miss for me. Do you like him or not like him, or?
He has made one of my favorite films of all time, Alien, but also, you know, he made House of Gucci, which is one of my least favorite films of all time. So it's just kind of like, you know, a little hit or miss with him. But
yeah, I put House of Gucci in that So Bad They're Awesome movie. It's just really so campy, so crazy.
I don't think I'll ever watch that movie again.
I get it. I understand. No doubt. But for me, it was just so nutty, and Lady Gaga was just chewing so much scenery. It just tickled me. Derek says agreed. It's one I've had my eye on, but I definitely want to see it now. Trini is in the building. What's going on, man? He says, "What up? What up?" Just saying, hey, and watching a flick. Enjoy it. All right. And she's saying hey to him. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the movie that I recommended for you. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm apologize to the people in the chat as well as to my guests, because usually I have that movie right here in hand for you. But for some reason, I just cannot put my hands on it tonight. It's one of the things I had it, set it down, and can't find it. So blame my old age or whatever you want to blame on that one. But the movie is Bad Words. And we just talked about Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman is the star and director of Bad Words. And his character is 40-year-old man. And when we meet him at the beginning of the movie, he is entering a spelling bee that has middle schoolers in it. Well, not even middle schoolers. They're like 10 years old.
Yeah, like
in elementary school. Yes.
Yeah.
So they're like fifth graders. And he's sitting on the stage, and just like us in the audience, everybody that is attending the spelling bee in the movie is wondering what he's doing there. And he has found a loophole that allows him to compete. And of course, he's trying to reach the national spelling bee. And why is the question that persists throughout the movie. And we get an answer later. He has a sponsor that enables this, because he's got to do a lot of traveling to go to the various spelling bees. And his sponsor is an online journalist played by Catherine Hahn. Like you, AJ, I'm bad at character names unless I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah, what was I don't even know if I'm sure they did, but I don't remember her name at all. And I just watched it a couple hours ago.
Right.
So, I know his name, Guy. His name is Guy in the movie.
Right, just Guy, right?
Yes.
And that was it. And I'm thinking back, because I've seen it a couple times now myself, and I can't remember them saying her name.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only character's name I really remember hearing a lot was the young boy, and they say it, but it's one I can't pronounce it, so we're gonna move past that.
Chopra.
But the young boy,
Chopra is his last name.
He befriends Jason Bateman's character, and
her name is
say it again. I'm sorry.
Her name is Jenny. Catherine Hahn's character's name, Jenny. And his last name is Chopra.
Yes, I do. The last name was Chopra. And he, like I say, he befriends Jason Bateman's character. He's seemingly a lonely kid. His dad kind of pawns him off, or just kind of sends him off to do things on his own in the name of building character. For instance, right at the beginning of the movie, when we meet this young man, he's sitting in coach on an airplane, and he turns around to talk to Jason Bateman's character. And when he asks where his parents are, dad is sitting in first class. And then that is the exact quote is he's still be sitting in coach Bill's character. And that's kind of the thing throughout the movie. All right. So let's start it with Jason Bateman. What did you think was or what did you think of him at the beginning?
So this movie has been, I'm going to start a little bit further back.
Go for it.
This movie has been on my radar for a little while, but I didn't really have any idea what the movie was about. I saw the poster, which looked kind of interesting. I knew it had something to do with kids, but I had no idea what this movie actually entailed. So when I started it and he was trying to, be, in the spelling bee, and I'm like, what is this movie? What is this man trying to do? And he's up there and he's trying, he's found some loopholes, and he's very witty and quick, and like he knows how to say things like and kind of just maneuver his way and worm his way into this thing. So I was just like, this guy is he's a character. But yeah, like I kind of liked it though. I was like, what is he, what is his deal? And it kind of had me intrigued for the rest of the film.
Yeah. Now, the first time watching it, especially, what I found interesting about it was he was witty, he was quick, he could get his way in and out of things, but he was a jerk about it.
Yes.
All
Crude.
the time. He wasn't like he wasn't charming.
No. No. Not at all.
And it's
Crass.
weird coming from a Jason Bateman character also. He always has that kind of dry sense of humor and maybe some quick wit, but it's usually not like this.
No, it's usually more of a charming character, more of a likable character. This character was not likable at all. But it was like in the best way though. So
yeah,
I don't know. As the viewer, as a parent, of one of the kids out there, no, but as a viewer of the film, yeah.
So one of the things that happens early on in that first spelling bee, as a matter of fact, he wins it, and what we find out quickly is that he is an expert speller, and so he wins the very first spelling bee, and he is chased out of the venue by these parents, and
he's holding the trophy. He's running.
Yes. He's holding the trophy. He's running, and they're out for blood. And you touched on something. Yeah, if I'm as a viewer watching the movie, yeah, that was pretty funny, and I was intrigued by him. But if I was one of the parents of those kids, yeah, I might be chasing him out of the building too.
Throwing donuts.
Yeah, they were throwing something. Yeah. And then we of course we get the little boy, and child actors are kind of hit or miss, at least for me anyway.
Yes, for me too.
They're hit or miss. How'd you think this young man did?
I thought he was actually really good. I thought he was charming, and he was like he hung with these comedic actors. So I don't know. I thought he was really good. I liked his performance a lot.
I would agree. I thought he held his own, and I thought his timing was pretty good. And he maintained that kind of innocence, even almost no matter what was happening, even though some wild stuff was happening.
Yeah. Yes.
And another the other character that we see a lot of course, is Catherine Hahn's character, and she was one of the intriguing characters, or probably the most intriguing character to me, because I couldn't really get a read on why she was doing what she was doing. Him, I knew there was a purpose to it, even though if I didn't know the purpose, but I knew there was a purpose. Her, I couldn't quite get a read on that, at least the first time I saw it. Were you able to pick up on why she was even there?
I don't think I really did throughout the entire movie. Like I just kind of figured that she was, kind of had dealing with her own things as far as relationships, and she was kind of lonely herself, and this was the person that kind of was in her life, and it was a toxic relationship, but this was the person that was in her life. So I didn't really like come up with like a very strong reason for her to be there, but yeah, she was like kind of hanging on and with him, so hanging in there with him, even though he was being utterly ridiculous throughout the entire film.
Yes, he was, and really proud about the fact that he was being that way too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is a film that for me it all those other characters were fine, but it really the fate of the movie rests on Bateman's performance.
Mm-hmm.
And uh I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. Um is this one of his better performances or no, in your opinion?
Uh, it's kind of hard to tell with comedy, and this is it's a dramedy. It
Yeah.
has, I feel like this is kind of a drama with some comedy splashed in there. Um, and it's a drama at its core, though. That's how I felt while watching the movie. And I think it's one of his more serious roles that I've actually seen from him, because most of the movies that I've seen from him, he is like full comedic mode.
Hmm.
Even though like usually his characters aren't like slapstick, there it's like a full on comedy. So when I saw this one, I would say yeah, it's more of his more serious and dramatic roles, and I think he did very well. And yeah, I could say that this is one of the best performances I've seen from him, but it wasn't anything like groundbreaking to
Right,
me.
right. Agree.
So,
I would agree with that. I would
mhm.
agree with that. All right. So we, of course, the driving force behind the narrative is why is he doing all this? Were you able to figure it out before he got there, or was this a surprise when it happened?
I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't know exactly. I
Okay.
kind of like, yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, there's a purpose, there's something in his past, you know, but I didn't, see exactly what happened until, it was revealed.
Okay. Now here's the
Mhm.
spot where we might have to be just a little vague, but with the character that is involved in this, in the reveal, uh,
Mhm.
do you think that that character should have been more involved in the film beforehand, or
I do.
no?
That's the exact thought I had while watching it, and I was like, well, if we would have had more engagement with that character, and I think the emotional scenes would have hit harder. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I still enjoyed it for what it was for with that character and the reveal and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Okay.
do agree. Well, I think that he should have, or they should have been in the movie more.
Okay. Okay. Fine. You did great.
Try not to give it away. I'm
Yeah,
trying.
you did great. You did great.
Yeah.
And let's just take a break for a second to see who else or if anybody is talking. We're still talking about Ridley Scott. Mika says Ridley
Mhm.
is hit or miss. Alien is one of my favorite films. We
Agreed.
fully understand that one. Kira says really also gave us the iconic Blade Runner and Gladiator.
Well,
You go ahead, go ahead. I want to hear that. I want to hear it now.
Kara might kill me for this one, but I didn't really love Blade Runner. I did not care for Blade Runner. I'm sorry. I'm one of those. I feel like I've met more people that can agree with me with that. Um, but I know that it has a cult following, and I know that, but I also know that there's a group of people out there that just don't really love it like that, and I'm kind of in that group. I don't hate it, but I
Mhm,
don't really love it like that. I watched it for the first time back in 2021, and
mhm.
I actually did a reaction video for it. So a quick plug if
Right.
you want to go check that out. But Blade Runner, uh, eh,
Okay. So it
but
sounds
and
like you
I haven't seen Gladiator, so
okay. Sounds like you're about like me on Blade Runner. I respect it more than I like it.
yes, I agree. The
Uh, uh,
visuals and cinematography,
yes,
spot
I,
on.
I will say that for a movie in the early '80s, it is still a gorgeous looking movie.
I agree.
Um, the story we can how they execute the story we can yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so
I'm
my
sorry,
next
Kira.
yeah. So my next question on that is how many times have you seen Blade Runner? Just the one?
Yeah, I just saw
Okay.
it that one time, so I will give it a rewatch eventually, and kind of like, you know, try to grow on it, try to have it grow on me. But
It's
I
I,
don't
I
know.
will say this. I've tried it 3 times now, and because the first time I hated it, and then the second 2 times I said, well, let me try it again. And then
Hmm.
the second time I was like, okay. Then I tried it
Hmm.
again. And it's kind of growing on me. I
Okay.
still don't love the movie or anything, but like I said, I
Hmm.
respect it more than I like it. But I do
Right.
understand it. It's one of those where some of the layers may not be revealed the first time
Hmm.
through it. And it also gets better when you think about the implications of what they're talking about
Yeah,
in the
rather
movie.
than exactly what's happening on screen.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
got
yeah.
you.
And
Mm.
Gladiator, I mean, it's a good movie. I don't love it
Oh,
like everybody, but it's a good
oh,
movie. It's a good movie.
I
I
haven't
don't, I
seen it,
don't.
so I can't attest to it.
Yeah, and this is also it's got a lot of visual effects that were groundbreaking for the time, also because of I'm sure you've seen clips of Russell Crowe standing in the arena.
Yes, I have.
Well, like, and
I'll watch it, but I'll watch it before we get the sequel. It's coming
yeah,
out,
yeah.
so
Most of the arena in those shots is CGI, and it looks really good. So,
okay.
yeah, it does its thing. I do like the movie; it's a good movie. Now, I will say that's one I've only seen once, and that was when it came out, not after it hit home video back then. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm gonna give that a rewatch myself. All
Hmm.
right, let's see what else we talking about out here. All right. Laren says, I just rewatched Bad Words a few nights ago. Love it. So funny. And he made sure that he got the ago in there. And my all time favorite, Thelma and Louise. I guess we're talking about Ridley Scott again.
Hmm. Have not seen that either.
That's really good movie also. Criterion just put that out a few months ago, I think.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I saw the cover of that. That's cool.
Yep. The monkey, Agatha Harkness, is in
Okay.
Bad Words. Yes, it was Agatha all along. Yes.
Catherine Hahn is in so many roles. I've seen Catherine Hahn so many times in just random roles, and I'm like, this person has probably been in like so many projects. Like, I don't know what's up with that, but like, I'll just be watching something one day, and is that Catherine Hahn?
Yeah.
Like, she's in MCU, she's like here, she's there, comedies. Like, what?
She just pops up. She just
Yeah,
pops up.
she was in this show, that phenomenal show. I know this much is true. It's a mini series on HBO, starring Mark Ruffalo. He plays twins. She was fantastic. That was like the best role I've seen her in.
Okay.
But
I'm not familiar with that one. What's
it's
the
not
name of it
it's
again?
not very it's called I Know This Much Is True, and it's
Okay.
not very popular. It's wildly underrated. It's like, I think it's like maybe 7 or 8 episodes long, and Mark Ruffalo does a fantastic job. Catherine Hahn is phenomenal. I I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it, but hey, sometimes we find these little gems. But yeah, so I just see her in everything. I just watched another series with her in it called Tiny Beautiful Things. It was a Hulu show that released a couple months ago. So
Yeah, I don't know that one either. Wow.
she's everywhere.
Yeah, she does pop up. It's one of those. She's a person that they almost never advertise that she's in it,
Yes.
and you're watching it, and then there she is.
Yes, and I did not know she was in this movie either. When I started it and I saw her pop up, I was like, it's Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, can't escape. Can't
Can't
escape.
escape it. Can't. But a good thing that I like the actress. So if I didn't
Yeah.
like her, I would be upset. But I like her. So
Okay. Emmett says he's gonna share our blend on his story. No problem.
nice.
Cody, Bad Words is great.
Mhm.
And the monkey, if Jason Bateman acted that way in Mr. Megorian's Wonder Emporium, Dustin Hoffman would have kicked his butt. Eh, that was a pretty interesting movie. Have you seen Mr.
I have
Megorium?
I have not.
That's the movie that was actually Heath Ledger was working on when he passed away.
Oh, okay.
And they subbed in for his character. They wound up subbing in multiple people in
Mhm.
his role. Johnny Depp was one. I can't remember if Jason Bateman was one of them or if he played someone else. I want to say Colin Farrell, but I'm not sure. But it's kind of a dreamy kind of movie.
Is it
It's
like a family film or kids movie?
yeah,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
it's like a family film.
Oh, okay.
All right. Lawrence Bateman really took the script and understood his role, I'm guessing he meant, and all the characters.
Hmm.
I would say that. Mika will have to check this one out as well.
Hmm.
Kira, never saw Bad Words, added to the watch list.
Nice.
Derek, took me years to like Blade Runner, disliked it for the longest time. Okay. So I
Might be
guess
me.
it's got to wear you down, I guess.
Yeah. A movie shouldn't have to do that, but okay.
I'm that way with like Mulholland Drive. No,
Mm.
I can't. The detective story of Blade Runner always connects with me. Okay.
Mm.
Probably took me 5 or 6 times for Derek to like Blade Runner. Yeah.
I probably would have given up around the third time, fourth time. I would have been like, this one is not for me. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I know this much is true. Great series.
It is. It
Captain
really is.
Hahn, great actress. Agreed. She was also great in Mrs. Fletcher. I don't know Mrs. Fletcher. Do you know that one?
I never heard of that one. Mm-mm. But
Uh,
there's another role she's in.
okay. And Odell, you're thinking of the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Sorry, I got the wrong movie. I know I've seen both, but those are some interesting names for their movies.
Yes,
All
they
right.
are. Because I couldn't even tell you either one of them.
And Emmett, question: what is your guys' thoughts and overall thoughts on Anaconda 2? I never bothered. I don't know if you have.
I have not seen it. No.
Yeah.
After I watched the first one, I was like,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
it.
I don't even know.
I think that's it. And if I understand correctly, that one is like a straight to DVD one, or did that
I
one
think
get
yes.
a
I think
theatrical
that's a
release?
straight to DVD or VHS or whatever was going on
Yeah,
back then.
yeah.
And I want to say there's like 2 more after that. I think I'm not sure.
It's a franchise. Everything's a
Yeah,
franchise.
everything's a franchise. All right, so let's get back to Bad Words. All right,
Mhm.
so when we get through this, what did you think of the adventures of Guy and our
It
young
was it
friend?
was it was a fun time. I was like, I'm really enjoying this. It's funny. It's inappropriate for him to be with a stranger. You know, the kid to be with a grown man, but it's a fun time. Nothing weird is happening. So, well, nothing. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
No,
So
nothing that's gonna make you cringe too badly, I would say.
yes, yes. Well, yeah.
Not too badly.
Not too badly.
Not too
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing anybody involved in the making should be going to jail for. Let's put
Right. Exactly. There we go. There we go. That's the correct word verbiage.
yeah, yeah. It was an interesting thing. So one of the characters that I wanted to see a little bit more from in all this, even though the movie is about Jason Bateman's character completely,
Mhm.
um, but since we spend so much time with this young guy, I wanted to kind of see his dad a little more
Mm.
and get a little more of a feel for him. Were you there with it, or were you just like, he is just there to be a figure that we're gonna dislike?
That's exactly how I was feeling watching the film. I was like, this character is pretty irrelevant. Only, knowing that he's, a jerk, he's not, in his son's life really, then it kind of gets things start getting revealed and okay, he served his purpose. That's enough.
Okay,
Um
okay.
and
I
if this was like a full-on drama, then yes, I would be like, yes, let's get these characters, let's see more of these characters, more depth with these characters, some backstory. but like this is kind of a comedy dramedy, you know. So I was like, okay, it is what it is, you know. I can't really complain too much about it. It made me laugh, so you know, it's done its job, pretty
Done his
much,
job. He's done his
pretty
job pretty
much.
much.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And I was thinking it. I was more like that the first time. I was more like, you know, man, what is? I need to hear from
Mhm.
Dad. I need to. What's going on with this guy? Why is he
I do that
like
too,
this?
for
And
sure.
yeah. And
Mhm.
the second time, I was kind of more like you. Was like, you know, I don't need him. It'd have been
Mhm.
nice to have,
Mhm. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I didn't need him
Not for what this
necessarily.
movie is.
Right.
Mhm.
Not for what this movie is.
Mhm.
By the end of the movie, again, without spoiling it too much, I guess. Uh
Mhm.
because it wants it does it want to be a redemption story or not?
It does. It does. And it does it in a comical way, which and it really worked for me. The third act, the ending of the movie, it definitely won me over without giving too much away, without saying too much.
Mm,
Um, I believe that this entire movie was a redemption story, for Guy.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it
I
worked for me.
okay. Because I feel like it is also, but I could understand if someone was like, you know, he's still a jerk.
Well, he is, but like we see that he has a heart.
Got it.
Like he's not a complete imbecile. he's he has a heart, you know. He does care. He can care. He has the capability to care. At the beginning of the movie, we didn't know. We didn't know if he was
Right.
just like some psycho, you know, not not being empathetic or feeling anything for anybody. But by the end of the movie, we can see that he has a special place in his heart, for things and people. That's
Cool.
yeah.
All right, so just a little bit through the chat, and then I'm going to get put you on the spot here with your score and how you feel overall about the movie. The Monkey
Mhm.
says Catherine Hahn was in an HBO show with Kevin Bacon in it. The weirdest show
Hmm.
I've ever seen. Kevin Bacon in. I threw up afterward. What is the name of this show, Monkey?
What?
I don't know what
What?
show this is.
With Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, I have
You
no idea
threw up
what that could be.
afterwards because of the show, or you were just sick?
Yeah, I don't know.
Here, let's look this up.
Yeah,
Kevin
I'm
Bacon.
curious on that one. I don't know. While you're looking at that, I will go through some more to chat. Kira says
Cool.
Anaconda Blood Orchid is not good, but again, a fun watch with Morris Chestnut and Sally Richardson, two actors I
Mhm.
like very much. Is that the second one, Kira, or is that the third or fourth? I don't know because like after the first one, I stopped watching. The Monkey, yes, Bacon typo. And Kira, I was surprised Disney's Jungle Cruise reminded me so much of Anaconda 2 Blood Orchid. Did it remind you of it as well? I guess he's asking Kira that question. That is interesting because I have
Jungle.
seen Disney's Jungle Cruise,
Oh yeah,
and that
reminded him of Anaconda 2.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, I haven't seen Anaconda 2. I
Me
have
neither.
seen Jungle Cruise. It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, this is the Catherine Hahn and Kevin Bacon show. I'm not gonna repeat what it's called, but that's what it's called.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So so yeah, if you want to check that out, you can.
Okay. I did not know such a show existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Stage A, your turn. Your overall thoughts on Bad Words.
I would say the words that come to mind with this film w- was fun and um entertaining. I would say it was definitely I didn't find I don't think I felt bored throughout this entire movie. There weren't a lot of like belly laughs, like laugh out loud type of thing, type of thing
Mhm.
with this movie for me, but I did chuckle quite a few times and I had fun with it. Jason Bateman was really good. Catherine Hahn was fine, for what she was given. It wasn't really a movie to take that seriously. It's just kind of there, like a little dramedy there here and there. I didn't feel like it was anything powerful or hard hitting or
Right.
like heavy messages, things like that. But like it was a fun time, and it's definitely gonna go on my list, for comedies to watch when I'm in a comedic mood. When I want to watch a comedy, I'll definitely remember this one to put it on. I If I had to give it a score, um, out of 10, I would say a solid 8.
Okay.
I enjoyed it quite a bit, and yeah, I definitely will return to it eventually. Watched it today, and I was like, I gotta show my wife this movie. It's kind of funny. I think she'll like it. So we'll probably watch it together sometime.
Cool. Let me know how she likes it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So I will count that as a win, a
Oh yeah.
solid 8. I will definitely count that as a win. So I think we both made good recommendations to each other since they turned out pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And just only I think one more thing in the chat here. Kara says, wow, yes, I guess she heard about the movie. Fitting analogy, talking about the Jungle Book and Anaconda 2. See, now you guys are
Jungle
trying to make me
Cruise.
watch Anaconda 2, and I don't really want to watch Anaconda 2.
Watch along.
Man, that's what's happening here. All right. Well, Mr. AJ, we made it through.
Yes, sir. Yes, we did.
And
it was a fun
now
time.
we get to the part where I turn the stage over to you completely, and you let us know all about your channel or whatever else you have going on or anything that you want us to know.
Okay. Yeah. I am AJ of AJ Reacts 2, all one word. And you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Serialized. I talk movies, man. I talk a lot of movies. I talk a lot of TV, video games, music, pretty much anything, nerdy and entertainment wise. I talk it, and I'm heavily on Instagram. YouTube, I'm here and there, but Instagram is where you'll find me the majority of the time. I log every single movie I watch, so you can catch me on Letterboxd. And it is AJ Reacts 2, all one word, in the letter or in the number 2. So yeah, come check me out. Thanks again, Dell, for having me on, and hopefully we can do this again. It was a fun time.
All right. Yeah, it absolutely was. I'm gonna have to follow you on Letterboxd also, because I also log all my stuff there too. And it's just Del on Movies.
Okay.
So looking at the chat, we do have some people saying that we did a good job tonight. I appreciate that, Lance.
Thank you.
Thanks, Del and AJ. Have a great night. Great chat from Kira. Thank you, Kira. Thank you, Mika. Great conversation, guys. Got some movies to watch, so yes, go ahead and watch them and enjoy them. As for me on this channel, I did mention that I was actually working on a review for Across the Spider-Verse, and I got a little too ambitious. It was going to be this big, great thing, and had all these pictures and all this editing I was doing, and that's when my laptop decided that it didn't like me anymore. So it kind of went away, went down the drain. So it's not gonna happen for the Spider Across review. I do love the movie, so I'll leave it at that for right now. You'll probably hear about it next month when I do all the things I watched in June. I am about to release a video for all the things I watched over the last several months, because that I slacked off in March and April and May. So it's coming. It's a long video, but you'll like it because I got a lot of stuff in that video. No more movie swaps for me this week. As for next week, I'm going to have John from Platex 2 here, and we're actually going to go on Wednesday. I'm trying to look at my calendar at the same time, guys. Yeah, we're going to go on Wednesday, and we'll also be filming something for his channel that night. I'm not sure when he's going to have it up, so we'll be doing a swap that way also. So doing a home and away. If you're a sports fan, you know what a home and away is. So I look forward to you guys joining us next week for that. If you're not subscribed to AJ on YouTube or following him on Instagram or Letterboxd, definitely go ahead and do that. As I always say, follow each other in the chat. Lots of great content creators out there, and we all deserve a little love, so go show them some. And really, that's all I have for us tonight. And hopefully see you guys really, really soon. Bye, guys.